And now I'm going to move on to the Apple Watch. So like I mentioned, Bella's at school right now, so I can't, so I'm not going to show her actual watch. But I don't really need it for most of what I'm going to do, because the only thing I need her like watch physically nearby for me to do is if I'm going to be changing like the face, the watch face and stuff. And I think that's about it, because everything else that's like the GPS and stuff like that, I just manage it through what's this called? Family? It's just Family? Okay, yeah. I just manage it through Family. So I'm going to go ahead and record my screen again, and then I'm going to show you guys how to set up all of these parental controls and stuff for an Apple Watch. And this also works for iPhones and iPads and stuff. So if you have any of those other devices, whether you're doing it along with an Apple Watch or you just don't have an Apple Watch and you want to do it for that, you can do that with this too. So in my case, she's got the iPad and she has the watch. So I have a lot of controls on the iPad in regards to what I had mentioned before, content restrictions, being able to delete or download apps, and all this stuff, other stuff that I'll get into in a little bit. So let's start that. Okay, so basically how you're going to get into this is you go into settings, and then I don't know how to explain it if I didn't have, okay, yeah, you do. Now I remember. So you go into settings, and then right now, because I already have the family set up, it'll show me over here family and then the devices, the people that I have under family. But if you didn't have it yet, you go to your Apple ID, and then you go down to where it says family sharing, and then you would go over here to this little like the add icon on the top right, and you would just choose who to invite. You can create the child account. So in my case, I just went and did create child account because I didn't have her associated at all. So you just put the name, the last name, the birthday, you verify, and then it'll tell you if you want to, I think it's if you want to use your Apple ID or if you want to give them an Apple ID. Since before I didn't know that I can manage so much stuff for them through my Apple ID, I had created one for her. So like my apps wouldn't download automatically to her iPad and stuff like that, which I still think is a better option, because you choose the birthday and stuff and you put the regular birthday. Don't put like an adult birthday. You just put their actual birthday, or at least their year, and then the thing automatically knows that it's a kid account. So when you're setting it up over here, it'll let you know, like this part over here that says the age, that's automatically done because I put the birth dates, the year correctly, and that way I can manage it. Because before I had put in my birth date when I created her account. So when it showed over here, it showed like she had an adult account, and I couldn't put so much control over it as I can with a child account. So all of these functions that I'm going to show you guys, it has to be created as a child account. So just make sure of that. So yes. So you add them, and then over here, you just go into each one. So I got an iPad. It's my iPad, but I might be using it later on to put like videos and stuff for Liam, so I just associated it with him. So that's why it says Liam. It's not that he actually has an iPad right now. But yes, let's see. So I go into Isabella, and then here I can manage basically everything. So if in your family you have more than one adult that's going to be managing this kind of stuff, you can definitely do so. So in this case, it's just me, because my husband is on the Samsung side of this thing. He likes Samsung instead of iPhone, so I'm the one managing it. So yes, let's see. Over here, I get the screen time. It'll tell me how much average screen time she has. Okay, so this screen time part, this is a function that you can do for iPads and iPhones as well. So if you want to be able to give your kids an iPad or an iPhone, but you're afraid, the so much stuff online, and you're not going to be able to be on top of them all the time to see what they're doing and what they're watching, and you're afraid of that, you can definitely control all of that through the screen time option on the phone. You can either do it directly, like just grab their phone, go to screen time, and you set all of this stuff up. Or if you have it through family and a child account, you do it through your own phone. You don't have to grab theirs physically. Because I used to have this screen time function before for my daughter's iPad, but I actually had to have her iPad, grab it and do the screen time and set all of it up. The passcode that I did is different than the passcode that she uses to unlock, so she wasn't able to override anything, and she's a good girl anyway, so she didn't ever try to do so. But you can do a different passcode if you want to manage that. So if you don't want to do like create an account and set all of this up and manage it through family, you can definitely just grab the device, go into settings, go into screen time, and then you set all of what I'm going to show you guys up. So, okay, so you have downtime, but I don't want her to use it between this and this time. So in my case, I set it up between 5 p.m. and 8 a.m. So in the morning, she's in school, so she's not using her iPad anyway. But for the watch and stuff, she's able to use it at any point in time. So basically, at 5 p.m., her iPad stops working. Well, the apps that I block, they stop working, so she can't open up the Internet Explorer. She can't open up Safari. She can't go into messages. Actually, I think that one I unblocked. But yeah, you decide what you want and what you don't want them to use after that time. So at that moment, even if she does have her tablet at hand, let's assume she wanted to go against what I said, and I told her, after 5 you can't use your tablet, and then she just wanted to like sneak and use it anyway. When you have this screen time activated, it just automatically gets blocked. So even if they do sneak their device in, they're not able to access it unless they know the passcode. So just make sure of that. Do not give them the passcode, because if you give them the passcode, then they can override it whenever they want, and then it'll be useless to set this up. So it'll let you choose the passcode. It doesn't have to be the same one that they use to unlock the iPad. So just make sure you choose one that is not the same that they have, that they don't know what it is, and you're good. Now, app limits. You can choose like during that time when they can use their device, you can choose some apps that like they have a certain amount of time that they can use it per day. So in my case, I allow her to have YouTube Kids, but I don't want her to be on YouTube Kids all day. I feel like it's mind-numbing, some of the stuff that's on there. So I don't want her to be just watching that kind of stuff all day, where there's like other more productive things that she can do on her iPad. So I don't want to be that bad mom and just like forbid her to access it at all, but I do want to be able to put limits on it. So in my case, I don't know why it says 2 when I did it 1. Let me edit that. So in my case, she can use YouTube Kids for 1 hour per day. So whether it's still between that window where she can use her iPad, if after 1 hour she's still on YouTube Kids is blocked, then she can keep going with whatever else she has. But that specific app, she can only get 1 hour of each day. So you can do that with any app you want. You just put add limit, and then you choose whether, from here you can write whatever the name of the app it is, or if it's a website, you just put over here in websites, add a website, and then choose what it is. And you can do several things at the same time. In my case, it's just YouTube Kids, but you can have several limits on there. You can do always allowed, which is what I was mentioning to you guys before. There's apps that they can use at any moment. Even if their time is up and everything else gets blocked, there's apps that they can keep using. So in my case, the phone, messages, and some other like educational apps. Like I'll let her use the apps to learn how to read in Spanish, to do the online reading books and stuff, the online books and stuff. All of that, I'll let her keep using it. But all the other games that she has, you know, she can't access that after the screen time is over. So here you can, from the apps that she has, you can just add them and they'll go up to here, or you can remove them and that's it. So for contacts, you can also choose that after a certain time, like for example, I have messages enabled after that specific time, but the contacts that she can reach are specific contacts. So during that time where her watch is, her watch and her iPad, because anything that's associated with that iCloud account is going to be associated to Isabella, to the thing as a whole. So all of these limits that I have here apply for her tablet and for her watch. So I do that specific contacts can reach her. So she does have messages enabled at all times, but the only contacts she can reach are myself, my husband, and her grandparents. So yes, you can decide who you want them to be able to have communication with. And that's about it for that. Screen distance, you can choose like if you don't want them to have it so close. I don't know how that works, but you can click on that. Okay, and communication limits. This one's very important for me, mostly for the watch, because her tablet, I mean, she does have FaceTime and stuff on there because it's like part of the iPhone. I mean yes, her iPad also has FaceTime, even though she doesn't have like a phone number associated to it. If she's on Wi-Fi, she can definitely use it. So it works for this, but I use it mostly for the watch. So for communication limits, you can put that. So during screen time, which is during the time that she's able to use her watch normally, she can speak with anyone who's on her contacts list. And in my case, I put contacts or groups with at least one contact. So you can choose that, or just everyone, whoever wants. That's up to you. In my case, since she's an 8-year-old, I choose what contacts she has on her list, and I only want her to speak to those people on the contacts. I don't want anyone else. So for example, if anyone were to figure out what her phone number is and try to call her or try to send her a text message, it won't go through, or she just won't be able to access it. So for example, a couple days ago, she got a text message from one of those like one of those phone numbers that's like 4 or 5 digits. So like the bank and all those other places, they'll send you some sort of like notification through a text message. She got like a little notification saying that she got a message from that number, but she can't see it. It's restricted. So it's very good if you have kids and you don't want, you know, just any random person just being able to talk to them. You can control who their contacts are and that they only speak with those contacts. So very important, this function. I loved it. And during downtime, so when she's not able to use her iPad or watch anymore, she can receive messages and calls and stuff, but only from specific contacts. So that's where it enters, where it's only her grandparents and her parents. All her friends and everyone else who has her phone number, they can contact her during regular screen time, but once that screen time, once it hits 5 p.m., that's it. And then over here, you can click on manage their contacts. I'm still working on it, so I'm like pending, because you do have to have their device in order to like approve all of this stuff. So just make sure when you're setting this up, just have their device so you can approve it on it. So yeah, you can put manage their contacts, so that way I'm the one that chooses who they have on their contact list. And allow contact editing, I turn that off because, I mean, I won't do much if I'm choosing who's on their contact list, but they can edit it and change the number or delete it or whatever. So I turned it off so she can't edit any of the contacts. And again, she's 8, so this might seem a little extreme, like, oh, why are you giving them this device then? Well, she's 8. She's getting some specific stuff. As time goes on and she grows up, obviously she'll be able to have a little more control over the devices. But for now, I just want her to have a watch where I can call her if I need her, and where I can track her if she's not at home, and it's very limited. So I love the fact that she can have these devices but not access everything that the device entails. So yes. Okay, and then we've got communication safety. You turn communication safety on, and it automatically reads. You can read it over here. It says, communication safety can detect nude photos and videos before they're sent or viewed on your child's device and provide guidance and age-appropriate resources to help them make safe choices. So, let's assume one of her contacts that she is allowed to have were to send her an inappropriate picture. She will not receive it. She would not be able to see it. So you just turn on communication safety, and that way you know that they're not watching stuff or receiving stuff that they shouldn't be. What else? Okay, content and privacy restrictions. So I turned those on, and then you can manage all of this. So the in-store purchases, see, for almost everything, they're asking you to put the code, the one that you assign to it. And then I can choose. Can I let her install apps? Yes or no? Yes, she can install apps. Can she delete apps? Yeah. Sometimes I'll click no, because sometimes kids will start pressing buttons. When she was smaller, she would just delete apps, and then I would look and I'd be like, what happened here? So I would just put don't allow, so that way she can't delete them. In-app purchases, I put don't allow because I don't like to spend money on apps for her. There's no reason to, at least for now. So I don't want her to accidentally be purchasing anything on there. Although I don't have my card associated, so she wouldn't be able to do so anyway, but just in case you do, just make sure, if you don't want them to be purchasing anything on your account, that you do that. And then require a password. You can always require it or don't require it. That's up to you. What apps she can use. So you can turn off some apps if you don't want them to have access to those apps. It just wouldn't show she turned the iPad on. And if I turn mail off, even if it's installed in the tablet, she would not be, she would scroll everything and it wouldn't be there. What else? Content restrictions. So you just choose what you want. So for music, make it clean. Can't watch music videos, can't watch music profiles. The movies are PG, blah, 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 blah. Web content, you can allow specific websites. So you can do unrestricted. They can, watch whatever they want. You can limit adult websites. They can go on anything except for adult websites. Or, in my case, allowed websites. She's only able to access these specific websites over here. And if I want to add a website that I want her to be able to access, I just click add website. I'll put a title for what it is, what the URL is, and then it gets added onto here. So she'd be able to go into it. Web search content, don't allow or allow it. Explicit language, don't allow or allow. All of this stuff is up to you. Regarding the game center, if she can play with friends, add friends, connect with friends, there's a lot of stuff here that's not allowed. Like I said, she's 8. I don't need her being, talking with strangers through games or, any of that stuff. So she can play multiplayer games only with her friends. She can change her avatar nickname, but all these other things, no. And, okay, share my location. You can allow share my location or not. If you want to be able to do all of this, like GPS tracking, make sure that's on allow. I don't know why, I guess I accidentally put it on don't allow. And then I would go to find my people. No, Find My. On Find My. And it wasn't updating, I couldn't see. And then I went, and it was because I had my share location not allowed. So make sure you have that on if you want to be able to track them. Passcode changes, I put don't allow, so she's not changing her passcode, and then I have no way to access and do anything. No account changes. The cellular data changes, that one I think is important, especially if it's a smaller kid that sometimes presses buttons without knowing what they're doing. I put cellular data changes don't allow, so that way her cellular network is always turned on. Even if she goes into her watch and tries to turn it off, it will not turn off. So I will always have her on there. There's no way for her watch to be disabled per se. Okay, so I almost forgot what I think is the most important part, which is the GPS. So I'm going to show you guys how to set that up. So you go over here to their watch. After you've already added the contacts, you go over here to people. This is hard to do. You go into people, and then you'll see. For example, here I already have that they can see the location. So over here, you would just go to whatever contact, in this case, mom, and then you could do, share location, and then it would ask like for a little while, indefinitely, and all of that. So you just set that part up. For notifications, I have to turn this on. That's to notify when they leave a location, which I'll show you guys how to do in a sec. But yeah, basically that's how you set that up. One important thing, in my daughter's case, she's got the Apple Watch and she has the iPad. And I was confused at first because I would check her location and it would show like she was at home, but I knew she wasn't at school, so I didn't know what was going on and why it wasn't showing me the location. And it turns out that the default device to show where she was the iPad. So the way you fix that is you go to find people, you go to where it says me, and then over here it'll show you send from, and then you choose which device it is that you want to be the default to share your location. So you put send from this Apple Watch, and then that was how I fixed that part. So very, very important in case they have more than one Apple device. Okay, and then the way that you would check where they are from your phone, you would go down to Find My, and then it would show you the contacts that you have. So you click on the contact you want to check, and then it will show you where they are located. And if you want to go to wherever it is that they are, you click directions and it'll open the Maps application and give you to how to get there. And then that's basically it. Okay, if you want to add notifications, so I haven't set this up yet because I need her watch to accept it. So if you want to do like the virtual boundaries, you go over here to notify and then notify me, and then you just put notify me when she leaves her current location, every time she leaves the location. And then we add that, and then she has to accept. So then I'll have to grab her watch and then do that. And I can do another one and then add when she leaves school. And I think you can set up like what schedule they can do that in. And yeah, that is basically it. Pretty easy, but very, very important. Okay, and so I just want to show you guys over here what her tablet looks like when her downtime is over. So for example, you can see all of the apps. See, all of these are blocked. So if she were to want to go and play on something, it would tell her no. She would have to click ask for more time. You put the passcode. If she puts it wrong, it'll tell you. I already used this as an example, so that's why I said one failed attempt. So if I go to check it, I'll know that she's been trying. And if I'm not here to like grab her tablet and put the code in myself, she goes to ask more time and it says send request, and then I'll get that notification on my phone. Did I send it? Send request, and then I should receive it. No?
It says it did.
Yeah, send it. Oh, there it is. So it says screen time request. Isabella requested more time. And then you click on it, and then you will go into it and put your passcode in.
Like this.
Ah.
I will never.
And then you can choose approve for 15 minutes, an hour, all day, or don't approve. And they can do that with basically anything. You can also take downtime off. Like you can go to downtime and you do ignore downtime until schedule. So let's say she's at a sleepover or something and I just want her to be able to access everything. I'll click this. She'll have access to it all. Let's try it one time. So I put ignore.
Go to the side. You have to turn it off and turn it back on.
Yeah, let's turn it off and then back on.
Can I do the code?
No, I just do the fingerprint. And see, everything is unblocked because I clicked ignore. Ignore the thing.
When you put an hour on again?
And then if I accidentally did that and I just want to turn it back on, turn it back on. I don't know if it works automatically. Let's try.
Homescapes.
I guess you got to block.
Oh
no, there it is.
That was cool.
There, it's all blocked. Okay, and then the apps that she's allowed, see? Even though everything else is blocked, there's some apps that she can still use at this time. And then the communication limits that I told you guys about. So she has access to these, but some specific context. So let's say she were to go into FaceTime. She can, let's say she would try to call her friend. See? Communication limit, she can't do it. But if she were to go over here and click on mom, then that call would definitely go through.
Well, I'm just going to hang up.
And then there you have it. Same thing with the messages. And you've got control over your kid's iPad, iPhone, watch, whatever. If she were to do that with the watch as well, see. Let's try to go into a phone call.
Oh, you could do that with anybody.
If she were to call her friend,
it'll actually let me. Oh, no.
Communication limit. She can't do it. But if she were to go in
and call mom or dad
and call mom, then that one would definitely go through.
Oh, I like the picture. What about if I tried to call Daddy?
You could do that too.
Let's call him then.
No, not right now. Those are basically all of the ways you can manage your kid's screen time. So again, if you have a kid that has an iPad or an iPhone and you want to be able to give them certain liberty in using these devices, but you want to make sure they're not on there doing or seeing stuff that they shouldn't be, this is a great way to be able to control that. Or if you just want to control like how much time they're spending on these devices, this is great. So how controlling you are of it, how much freedom or restrictions you have on there, that's totally up to you. But yes, this is what I did for my daughter, and so far it's been working great. I have like peace of mind in knowing that when I hand her her iPad, I know that, there's certain things that aren't going to be happening. And yeah, if you guys have any questions about anything, I try to be very thorough, but some things might have been missed. So if you have questions about anything, just let me know and I will reply with a comment, another video, whatever you guys need. So if you like this, click follow.